Oh man, I don't know if I'm just too cushy and sensitive. Tell me if I'm being a little bitch about this. I'm sure you can't see it in the camera right now, but it's snowing in the middle of April. Let's go inside for this. If you told me a year ago that I would be where I am today and done the things that I did this year, I wouldn't have believed you for a second. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the BB Bus, where today is the 1-year anniversary of me living in this bus. Every single time I say that, it blows my mind yet again. I could never have imagined living in something like this that I built myself for a year. So today, to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of me living in this bus, we're gonna go over the 5 best things and the 5 worst things that I have to say about living bus life. Thanks for watching. First things first, we're going to talk about the 5 best parts of living in this bus. Number 1, the best part about living in this bus is that I don't have to pay rent. If I were to be paying $1,500 a month in rent over the 12 months that I lived in the bus, it would have cost me 18 grand in rent costs. When you're renting an apartment like that, that money just goes away. That's not equity. That's not invested in yourself. You don't own anything after that. So I would have spent $18,000 in the last year in rent had I not been living in this bus. And that's pretty cool, if you ask me. So that's number 1. Best thing about living in the bus is I don't pay rent. Number 2 best part about living in this bus is the general location flexibility. Now, that's not referencing travel, because that is a different topic in general. But the ability for me to work the job that I wanted to work, to spend time with the people that I wanted to spend time with, and not feel stuck and held down in one stable position has been amazing. Being able to go work with my cousin in Washington, and when they decided to move to California, cool, I could go too. The location commitment, it's real flexible. And that's real nice. So that's number 2, location flexibility. Number 3, and this could be one of my favorites because the intrinsic value to this is so much more than what you think it is. The 3rd best part of living bus life is the people that I met. And I know I talk about this all the time on my stories when I share me spending time with other people, and on my other videos where I say these people are amazing, but the people that I've met are amazing. And I never would have run into those people had I not been living in this bus. Number 4 is the fact that everywhere you go, you have your whole home. People that don't live in a bus or a van, you don't know what that really means. So for example, I have spent plenty of nights parked at a family member's house or a friend's house or a family friend's, or the degree at which people are willing to let me park in their space extends beyond my direct family or my family's family or my family's friends. It's incredible the number of people that are like, yeah, come on through. And when I show up to those kind of people's houses, the vast majority of them say, oh, we have a guest bed, we have an extra bathroom, we have a shower, we have this, that, you can use our kitchen. They don't realize that this is my home, my entire home, and this is the home that I've chosen to live with and I am excited about living in. And it takes them a little bit to realize that. I have to tell them 2 or 3 times after them offering this, offering that, yes, offering is a generous gesture, and that I'm grateful every time. But it's not until I tell them 2 or 3 times that, no, it's okay, I'll sleep in the bus. That's my house. I sleep in there every night anyways. I just moved it to your driveway. It's not until I tell them that 2 or 3 times that they're like, oh, I do get it. This is literally your house, and it's everywhere you go. And that is honestly super cool. I don't have to think super hard about packing all my things. If I'm gonna go to the gym, I just drive to the gym, and when I get there I'm like, all right, now I put on gym clothes. I don't gotta gather it all up, and once I leave home I'm stuck like, I should have brought my thing. Yeah, it's right there, it's all with me. And number 5, living life in a simple way. And yes, you're gonna say, but you're so bougie, your bus is too fancy to be simple. Yeah, I know. There are bells and whistles in this thing that people's houses don't even have, and I get that. But those are things that I chose to build in here because those are parts of life that I appreciate. And there's nothing wrong with that. Living life in a bus isn't about sacrificing everything. It's about paring things down to the essentials that you really value and that you really get a lot of use out of on a daily basis. If you've been in tune with my social medias this last week, this whole monitor setup, this editing station, no, none of that's necessary. But do I use it, and do I gain a lot of enjoyment and ease of workflow by having this in here? Oh, you bet I do. Of course, it's not necessary. You can be even simpler than this, but the value I get out of it is immense. So that being said, I live in 110 square feet. You cannot find an apartment that size. But the fact that I've lived in that small of a space for an entire year has actually taught me a ton of lessons in simplicity. So those are the top 5 things. Those are the 5 best parts of living in this bus for me. And now, what you really came for. The 5 worst parts about living in the bus. Now that I've made myself a wee bit more comfortable, let's talk about the 5 worst parts about living in a bus. Number 1 worst part about living in this bus, frankly, is the gas bill. So yes, while I saved a ton on rent, I did spend a lot on gas, especially in the last couple of months. I get 10.5 miles per gallon. Since January, when I left my job and started really driving around and doing a lot of moving, I've driven about probably about 5,000 miles in the last 3.5 months. And if you do some quick math on that, at about $6 a gallon, you're looking at 2,500 bucks in gas in the last 3.5 months. Number 2, worst part about this bus, I'm gonna say it, is the bathroom. Yes, a lot of people ask about, where's your bathroom? What do you do for a toilet? While I have a composting toilet in here, I'm gonna be honest, I've used it 3 times in the last year. And that's because it's not the best solution. It's easier for me to use a gas station, a friend's house, whoever I'm parked at's house, go at work, coffee shop, restaurant. Almost anything is easier than using that and carrying around a plastic bag with you know what in it. A better bathroom solution would make this easier. When I'm parked on BLM land and there's nobody around, I go outside. I've gone outside more in this last year than I have ever in my life, which I'm proud of that. There's nothing wrong with that, right? In future builds, did I just say that? The bathroom will be much better. Number 3, worst part about living in this bus is extreme climate. Oh man, I don't know if I'm just too cushy and sensitive. You tell me if I'm being a little about this, but I have a hard time when it's too hot, too cold, too wet, too windy. And when you're in a house, all those things kind of sort themselves out. In here, when it's bad out there, it's bad in here. Now, I don't have leaks. A lot of people out there have leaks in their rigs, but I used to have leaks. And that's why I don't like rain, because I'm paranoid that somewhere up there is a leak and it is gonna get bad. So whenever it's raining, I get stressed. Whenever it's windy, it's just loud and it's rocking in here. It's just not comfortable. It's not like you can go outside and be any better. You just sit in here, uncomfortable, and tough it out until it's over. So, wind isn't great. When I was in Central Washington last summer and it was 117 degrees for 10 days straight, that wasn't great. I was fortunate enough to be parked in a driveway so I could sling an extension cord. I borrowed a household portable AC machine. I was able to keep this somewhat cool in here, but I had to wrap the outside of my bus in Reflectix to keep it that cool. Because otherwise by 8 in the morning, my windows were so hot that it was cooking in here. So extreme heat, oh, that's rough too. And when it's extremely cold, I guess that's the least bad of all of them because my diesel heater really puts out enough heat to keep things comfortable in here. But when it's extremely cold, I get anxious about whether or not the engine will start. After a cold night, I go to start the engine the next morning. You can imagine, if I'm parked out in the desert, not much around, it's a little bit stressful when that happens. Hot, cold, wind, rain, None of it's great. Number 4, travel restrictions. Now, didn't I mention earlier how cool it is to travel and have your home with you and go anywhere you want? This kind of travel is a little bit different. Anytime that I have to leave the bus, if I go fly to visit Evelina, fly home for Christmas, that gets tricky. Where do I put this for a week at a time? How do I make sure that there's going to be enough sun where it's parked to keep the batteries topped up, to keep my fridge cold, to keep my food okay? Or am I doing a hard reset every time I leave the bus for a couple of days? Not to mention the fact that when I'm not in the bus, there's no way I can do anything to fix a problem or help mitigate an emergency situation. If I'm not here, this thing's just gonna burn and burn and burn until it's gone. So that's a little bit of a stressful situation, and especially now that I have the cat. And I know that's not special for me in bus life. That's everybody ever with a cat. You gotta find a cat sitter, you know? But that is a challenge. Living in the bus is finding a place to put this. The 5th worst part about living in the bus is limited space. Yes, this is kind of the antonym of the 5th best part of living in the bus, living simply. Frankly, I have a very small fridge. I have a fridge, thank the Lord, but it's a small one. So I can only store so many groceries in there. Yes, would it be great to have a freezer with ice so I could actually have cold things? Yeah, that would be amazing. But I don't. And it's just something I have to live with. Would it be amazing to have a big enough fridge to have, you know, store some meat in there and cook that up for dinners? Yeah, it'd be nice, but I don't. Would it be nice to have a bigger closet where I can actually organize my clothes a little bit better than kind of just like smashing all the rolls in together? Yeah, it'd be nice, but I learned to work around it. Someday, when I'm not living in the bus anymore and I have access to a full kitchen, I will bake sourdough bread again. But it's just not realistic in this small of a bus. I know people that do. Tawny from Since We Woke Up, she bakes sourdough on her bus. So cool. They got a big bus, so they got, you know, more space to keep that starter, keep all their bacteria growing, food things. That is number 5 on my list of the 5 worst parts of living in the bus. Gas bill, my bathroom. The shower's amazing, don't get me wrong. I love the shower, just the toilet isn't the best. Extreme climate problems. Oh, hot, cold, wet, wind. Those just stress me out. Travel restrictions, you can ask Evelina, I am attached to this bus. Not because I'm scared of things, but I just like it so much. So leaving it is hard. She's like, I don't want to come hang out at my apartment because I like my house. She doesn't sound like that. And limited space, less gear, less toys, different habits and different hobbies, and that's okay. A year, wow, that's amazing. I know that may not seem like a long time, but a year of my life I've spent living in this. Okay, all right, that's enough. That is my 5 best and 5 worst parts about living in the bus. I hope you enjoyed kind of getting a raw look at, you know, what I appreciate and what I don't. If you are wondering if you could ever do something like this yourself, of course you can. Don't let anything stop you. Like I said before, if you would have asked me if I would make it a year in this thing, I would have said, no. But look, I've done it, and I would do another. I would do a lot more someday. More on that next time. That has been another video with me here in the Bibia Bus. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you are not subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button. I love sharing videos with you, and I hope that I can reach you and send you good vibes anytime that I can. So hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with someone that you think is thinking about bus life. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one, and we'll see you here in the Bibia Bus next time. Bye.